Anyone who spends enough time in Excel knows the pain of a broken VLOOKUP. You build a perfect dashboard, someone inserts a single new column into the raw data, and suddenly your spreadsheet is full of reference errors. VLOOKUP is fragile because it relies on a hard-coded column number. We can bypass the structural weakness entirely by breaking the lookup process into two separate independent steps, using the index and match functions. This diagram shows how index works. It acts as a basic coordinate system. You select a specific range of cells and tell it exactly which row and column number to look at. Index simply retrieves whatever value is sitting at that exact intersection. Now, look at this breakdown for match. Think of it as a GPS. You give match a specific value to search for within a single row or column, and it returns an integer telling you its relative position. Here, the lookup value is found in the third spot, so match returns a 3. Methodical. By assigning the find action to match and the retrieve action to index, you decouple your formula from static columns. If someone inserts a new column, the match function automatically recalculates the new position, keeping your final result perfectly intact. This animation shows how we merge these two tools. We take our base index formula, and we swap out that manual row number for our dynamic match function. Match feeds the correct position directly into index. Notice the 0 at the very end of the match syntax. This tells Excel to look for an exact match. Forgetting to type this 0 is the most common reason these formulas return incorrect data. This overview shows the modern upgrade to this workflow, XMATCH. It performs the exact same job as match, but it intelligently defaults to an exact match. You don't have to manually type the 0 anymore, which instantly reduces your error rate. Looking down at example 3 here, XMATCH also introduces advanced search directions. You can command it to search last to first. If you have a chronological log of transactions, this allows you to pull the most recent data point instead of the oldest. Swapping match for XMATCH eliminates the most persistent syntax errors. But because you are still nesting it inside the index function, you retain the complete structural flexibility of a two-part lookup engine. Let's test this architecture on a two-dimensional matrix. In the real world, you often need to retrieve data based on two conditions simultaneously, like finding the sales for a specific product in a specific month. Looking at this table, our goal is to extract the exact sales figure for the printer product during the month of April. Our first match function scans the product column. It locates printer and reports back that it sits in row 5. So we have our row. But how do we dynamically tell the index function which column to look at for April? We use a second match function. We point it at the header row to find APR, and it returns column 4. We drop both match results into our index formula, and it perfectly intersects at our target value. By stacking independent match functions for the row and column, you build a multi-dimensional query. Standard VLOOKUP functions can only search vertically. This index matrix allows you to pull data across any axis. Excel recently introduced a unified formula called XLOOKUP. It handles horizontal and vertical lookups natively, which begs a fair question. Why spend the time learning to build an index and match engine? This comparison chart breaks down this syntax showdown. XLOOKUP is highly streamlined. You give it what you want to find, where to search, and what to return, all in one string. Index and match requires you to carefully nest separate functions. However, when you are processing massive data sets with hundreds of thousands of rows, XLOOKUP can noticeably slow down your workbook's calculation time. Because index and match mathematically separate the search step from the retrieval step, it processes these heavy loads with far greater efficiency. Conversely, if you're working with standard datasets in a modern Excel environment, XLOOKUP is incredibly fast to implement. It's simpler to audit, and it has built-in error handling right in the syntax. You don't have to choose just one. Use XLOOKUP for everyday speed and quick data validation, but when you need to build robust, multi-dimensional models or process enormous datasets, deploy your index and match engine.